Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys poised to hire much maligned ex-head coach to become new DC. The Dallas Cowboys have a way to go before they can return to being bona fide championship contenders, particularly given that the newly minted NFC champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, remain in division. In the new Brian Schottenheimer era, the team will be searching for answers on both sides of the ball, with the team ranked in the bottom half of the league in both total offense and defense. A bright spot for the Cowboys was looking to be the presence of veteran coach and former Vikings HC, Mike Zimmer, as defensive coordinator on the team, a role he's served in for the past year since taking over from now Washington Commanders head coach, Dan Quinn. However, Zimmer revealed on Sunday that he would not be returning to Dallas in 2025, and is likely to retire. As a result, the search is on for a new defensive coordinator in Arlington, a particularly critical position given Schottenheimer's inexperience as a head coach, and his specialty being on the opposite side of the ball. The franchise, one would imagine, will most likely want to bring in a long-time DC, and preferably one with head coaching experience in order to be on hand to provide stability and guidance to the newbie Schottenheimer. One major name that has popped up was former Chicago Bears head coach, Matt Eberflus, who was fired mid-season by the franchise after a series of disappointing coaching decisions to end games this past season. And it seems like Flus may indeed be a likely candidate for the Cowboys, as Tom Pelissero reports that the former HC is in Dallas for an interview. Former Bears coach Matt Eberflus is headed to Dallas today for an interview, and as long as all goes well, he's expected to be named the Cowboys' defensive coordinator, per sources. Whilst he will not be remembered as a successful head coach in the league, thus far, going 14-32 during his stint, including a remarkably awful 5-19 in one-score games, many believe he is still a very capable defensive coordinator. The Bears' defense improved from one of the worst units in the NFL at the beginning of 2023 to a borderline top 10 unit in football by the beginning of 2024. And, almost more crucially, once Eberflus left, the defense got significantly worse. Eberflus' poor in-game management will, one would imagine, not be a major factor in the decision-making process, given his auxiliary rather than titular role. And although the coach was fervently disliked throughout the greater Chicago area by the end of his tenure, this could genuinely be a smart play for a team that ranked 28th in total defense in 2025. With no other interview requests to date by the Dallas Cowboys for the role, it seems like this is really all but a done deal for the boys, who may end up making a sneaky good hire. Brutal Mike Zimmer update makes Eagles win even worse for Cowboys fans. It would be an understatement to say Dallas Cowboys fans have gone through it this week. The team announced Brian Schottenheimer as its new head coach on Friday after an absolute abomination of an interview process that included just 3 external candidates. While Cowboys fans are still processing that news, they had to watch the Philadelphia Eagles steamroll the Washington Commanders to punch a ticket to the Super Bowl. It will be the Eagles' 3rd Super Bowl appearance in the last 8 years. They have their core locked up for the long haul, and they're one of the most aggressive and diligent teams in the NFL when it comes to drafting and signing players in free agency. Micah Parsons knows all too well that Philly will be a problem for a long time. It will be up to the Chiefs or Bills to prevent the Eagles from winning it all. In the meantime, though, Dallas needs to focus on rounding out Schottenheimer's coaching staff. Well, one big domino has fallen in that regard, and Cowboys fans won't like it. According to Cowboys insider Ed Werder, Zimmer will not return as defensive coordinator and will likely retire from coaching in the NFL. Multiple Cowboys reporters have heard whispers that Zimmer is contemplating retirement. Zimmer himself said after the season that his return to the NFL was difficult. While he hasn't officially announced his retirement, he gave off the impression of someone who knew it was last year. Can you blame him? After 23 years in the league, including 8 as a head coach with the Vikings, Zimmer has nothing left to prove. Before that, he was a high-end defensive coordinator for 15 years and won a Super Bowl with Dallas in 1995 as the team's defensive backs coach. The Cowboys' defense struggled initially under Zimmer, but growing pains were expected given Zimmer's complicated scheme and how much it differed from Dan Quinn's. The unit came on really strong in the final 2 months, despite missing several impact players due to injury. Cowboys fans wanted Zimmer back so the defense could build on that momentum. It stands to reason that the group would have made a significant leap. That was the issue with signing Zimmer to a 1-year contract in the first place, but failing to think bigger picture is one of this front office's myriad flaws. Hopefully, whomever replaces Zimmer, likely Eberflus, gets a multi-year deal so Micah Parsons and company can start to establish some continuity. 3 defensive coordinators in as many years is not ideal for any team. Cowboys urged to trade for $80 million ex-Super Bowl MVP receiver this offseason. Whilst all the Dallas Cowboys buzz has concerned the hiring of Brian Schottenheimer as head coach, and the now likely hire of Matt Eberflus as defensive coordinator, free agency and the official beginning of the new NFL season is fast approaching. On March 12, the new league year will begin, and the Cowboys will go about trying to retain valuable free agents like linebacker Eric Kendricks, nickel Jordan Lewis, and longtime edge rusher DeMarcus Lawrence. All in all, Dallas has 7 starters who are set to depart in free agency this spring, and with only around $7 million in cap space, something will have to give. With the likely restructuring and subsequent lowering of Dak Prescott's monstrous cap hit of almost $90 million in 2025, the Cowboys are expected to have some financial leeway to re-sign some veterans or perhaps make some splash acquisitions, as the team looks to return to winning ways after a disappointing 7-10 season in 2024. The Cowboys finished 10th in passing yards this season, but much of that, many will argue, was down to the team's aversion to committing to the rushing game, where they came 27th out of 32 teams. Whilst having a top 10 passing offense sounds good on paper, Dallas ended up underperforming the league, considering only the Cleveland Browns and Cincinnati Bengals had more passing attempts in 2024. To fix the passing game issues, and to start to justify Prescott's record-breaking $60 million per year deal signed back in September, Dallas may well look to add another offensive skill weapon to work alongside All-Pro, CeeDee Lamb. Lamb had another 1,000-yard-plus season in 2024, but the drop after him in the receiver room is significant, with former third-round pick Jalen Tolbert next on the list with just 610 yards. The need for a high-end WR2 is real, and Lorenzo J. Reyna of Clutch Points may have an elegant answer. He urges the Cowboys to spend on the offensive side of the ball this offseason, and lists current Los Angeles Rams receiver and former Offensive Player of the Year and Triple Crown winner, Cooper Kupp, as an excellent trade candidate. Kupp is already rising as one of the league's top trade candidates. Rams head coach Sean McVay revealed Kupp isn't guaranteed to return to LA on Thursday. A cut or trade is highly likely involving the Super Bowl 56 most valuable player. Jones and the Cowboys, though, ought to capitalize on Kupp. Dallas needs urgent help next to Lamb. Especially some slot wide receiver help, which Kupp is established at. Schottenheimer can have a field day creating mismatches with Kupp and Lamb if paired together. Prescott gets long-awaited inside WR help that hasn't been consistently seen since Cole Beasley. Despite Kupp having missed 18 games due to injury over the past 3 seasons since his OPOY year in 2021, he is still a top receiver in the league when healthy, and would probably be a WR1 on a lot of NFL teams, even at this stage of his career. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Cooper Kupp? Leave your opinion in the comments.